Ha ha. Before the memories. This actually all started with a conversation I was having with the couple that we stayed with. We were up in Oakland. We stayed with our friends Christopher and Susan Brown. And Christopher is one of these. I don't know how to describe Christopher. He doesn't really have a description. But he loves to talk about things spiritual, and he's got into science of mind. He's kind of into Buddhism. He's got into Christianity. He's kind of into everything, but he doesn't like anything to have a name. And so we got into the discussion around this time of year and Christmas and Jesus and all that kind of stuff. And he was saying, what do you think of all that? And I said, well, I think that when you do something incredible, your backstory becomes really important, see? Like, nobody really cares where you're born until, nobody really cared about Yorba Linda or any of these places where a president was born until he becomes a president. Then you go back and you figure out the story, what they were all about. It didn't matter that Albert Einstein almost failed in school until he became this famous guy that came up with MC squared. Then they went back and discovered, wow, they told him he was no good in math. I mean, that's what happens later, right? And so I started thinking about, wow, that means that before you're something means something after you become something. And then I got into this time spin, and that's where I came up with before the memories. Before the memories. If you want your memories to be really, really great, then I think the major thing, the best thing to do is to live fully in the now. If you live fully in the now, then everything works out really great. And some things really help you snap to the now moment. When I expressed gratitude, Johanna and I expressed gratitude for what snapped me into the now moment last week or two. Wow, that's how fast it was. 22 days ago, when I got that call about my mom, made me realize how precious life is. And in the process of it, we were having to check out these things. Medical people, they turn everything into an acronym, into a word. They got this thing called SNFs. You know what a SNF, right? Skilled Nursing Facility. But they actually sniff. I'm like, what? Sniff what? What are you doing? So we had to go visit some to check out, because that's probably where Mom's going to end up having to go for a little while she does the rehab. And this one woman that we met at 26-year-old had a brain aneurysm. And she was telling us how she didn't have the ability to swallow for a long time, and so she couldn't eat for a long time. And that came back slowly. She got her mobility back and got her swallow back, and she hated yogurt. But the first thing she could eat was something soft, right? And mushy. I don't like mushy food, except potatoes. I like mashed potatoes. Anyway, sidebar. Back to this. So, you know what's coming up, right? The first thing she could eat was yogurt, and she was like, this is the most amazing food in my life. I just love yogurt, right? It's amazing, It's like Eddie Murphy says, you feed a starving man a cracker, he's like, this is a great cracker. What kind of cracker is that? A salty cracker or was that a Ritz cracker? I don't know. This is really good. This is a really good cracker, I mean, life gets really precious when you pay attention. When you pay attention to the moment. There was this Zen master that was living in a monastery, and one of the chief abbots said, would you lay some wisdom down on us? We need some wisdom for the kingdom. What can you tell us? And he wrote down on a piece of paper, attention. And he says, attention? He says, can you say more about that? So he took the paper back and he wrote, attention. Again. So it says, attention, attention. And the king, the leader, was saying, that's all? And he says, okay, takes the paper back again. He wrote, attention, attention, attention. See, attention means attention. If you're paying attention to what's happening in your life, your memories are going to be pretty decent, because you'll be present to what's going on. And your yogurt will taste nice, and so will your saltine crackers, if you enjoy them fully in the moment. There's a minister, has a special focus ministry. Her name is Tinker Donnelly. What a name. Tinker Donnelly, Heartworks. And this is one of the phrases. Change your thinking, change your life is more than a motto, it's a method. We have the method in the science of mind to change your thinking, to change your life, to set things up so that when we get into that before the memory moment, in other words, the now moment, when we get to this present moment and have that experience of going back into the past. I mean, when you're happy, you don't know it. You're just being an enjoyable moment. And then it passes. You go, whoa, that was a really happy time. Now you're dealing with the past in the present moment. And you're thinking, I'd like to have that happen again. And now you're into the future moment. But if you could stay right there and pay attention to where you are in this moment, then you don't have to worry about whether those moments on either side will be that way. One of my dear friends, I talk about him a lot, his name's Spencer, and one day he called me and he said, Steve, I was having a conversation with you in the shower, thought I'd call you and see how it turned out. He recognized that you got to live in the moment. You want good memories, live right here, right now. There were these two brothers that had inherited a farm from their pops, and they divided the farm directly in half down the middle. They loved each other. They were very even Steven kind of brothers. But one of the brothers was married and one was single. And they farmed their farm and they harvested their grain and everything was going along well. And one evening at dinner, the brother with the family was sitting with his family and he's looking and he's going, wow, what a blessing I have, these beautiful children who will one day take care of me, and this lovely wife who takes care of me, and how great that is to have this. And there's my brother sitting at home, eating alone. Who's going to take care of him? So that night, he takes a big old bag of grain, and he hauls over, and he pours it into his brother's grain sack. A couple of days later, his brother's sitting at home having dinner. And he's thinking, oh, my brother, he's got the two kids and the wife. What if something happened? Who would take care of his family if something happened to him? And so he takes a big old sack of grain and he hauls over in the middle of the night and he pours it in. And this goes on for a while and the brothers are like looking at their sacks going, my grain never goes down. What's up with that? So one night, they're carrying their grain in a sack and they see each other. And they both got the grain, and they go, oh, really? They drop the grains, and they hug each other. It's like so sweet. They were doing the same thing for each other, right? But they weren't in the moment. It took all that time. They could have been celebrating if they'd been doing that for a long time. If they were in the moment and had the moment to just say, I love you. Here's what I want to have happen for you. I love you, too. I want to happen for you, too. Hey, why don't we just farm together? It could have been a whole new thing, you know? But this is the deal. If you want your memories to be great, stay right here, right now. That sounds like a book. Be here now. Somebody should write that. In the Science of Mind, it says, one of the great difficulties in the new order of thought, that's us, we're the new thought people, in case you didn't know, is that we are likely to indulge in too much theory and too little practice. We can be very heady, us Science of Mind people. We can be all about the prayers. I know how to pray. I got the 5 steps down, you know. I got the recognition, unification, realization, Thanksgiving, and release. I was just testing you. I knew what it was. Thanks, Patrick. But how often do we practice this? Right? I mean, how often do we really put it into practice? Every day is the greatest answer of all. And you know what? Johanna and I put it into practice every day. We wake up every morning, we do our spiritual practice. But when my mom went down, it took a moment. It took a moment to recognize the truth and to look past all the machines. It was another friend of ours that we stayed with, Courtney Ruby, said to me one morning, doctors aren't God. God's only God. And I was like, thank you. Because you listen to all that and you hear the beep, 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 and the checks and reports, and then you see it with the suction and everything, you're thinking, oh my God, the doctor is God. Tell me what's going to happen. They don't know. There's only one thing that knows. That power and that presence that is greater than we are. And in the Science of Mind, we have a method that we can apply every day in our lives. Look at a walking miracle right here in front of us. Tony applied it. Evelyn applied it. Look what happened to him. Right? Jerry must be applying it every day of her life. She's cracked up 102 years. Something must be working. Right? Paulette knows everything under the sun, including what dates it appeared under the sun, and she applies it every day too. Knowledge is not just enough. It's all throughout Patrick's favorite book and John's favorite book too. Have you guys met each other? You should know each other because you're both favorite authors of your own selves. But when the fit hits the sham, do we go to theory or we go to practice? And when we go to practice, then we get to that place where the memories are sweet because we remembered to remember. And that's what Science of Mind is good for. It's good for the great everyday practice of life. Dr. Holmes was so strong in his teaching about this that he named a certain arm of us practitioners, you see. What good is it? What good is the possibility until it is used? What good is the knowledge unless we make practical application of it? This is my call to you all. If you don't have a spiritual practice, and it doesn't take much time, and look, we're in L.A. I mean, I was up in Oakland. They got terrible traffic up there, too. I mean, you think we got bad traffic. They don't have enough roads, you know, and all the roads do like this. Don't they know how to make straight freeways? But we got all the point of that is you're sitting in traffic. What are you doing? I mean, I love NPR. I like to listen to KPCC and KCLRU, but when you're sitting in the traffic, turn the dang radio off and do some spiritual practice. Just be grateful. Look at the prosperity around you, all the various cars, the tall buildings, the people going back and forth, and just be in the present moment of where you are. That right there is applying the theory and making it practical in your life so that when you need it, you automatically know how to use it. See, Dr. Holmes says that we have a need for spiritual conviction and spiritual experience, and that only comes in the process of practicing this teaching that we come here every week to talk about. And there's so much value in being in the present moment. Watching the traffic go by maybe, or just talking to the checkout person. Put the phone down. Don't text anybody. That's a human being in front of you. Have a relationship with that person and see them for who they are, for the joy and the service they bring into your life, which is why I do not go to the automated checkout stand at the grocery store. I want people to have a job. I do not like those things, although one night I did use it. And I felt guilty. I was like, oh. Then I thought, practice the moment. This is wonderful technology. Look at what someone has created. How neat is this? Beep, beep, beep. And I was out the store, but I go back to the regular stand. Ruthie is my favorite. There's so much wisdom that we gather in those moments of awareness. One morning, my mom was feeling a little bit down in the dumps. You could see it in her eyes. I think the reality of what had happened to her was coming down on her. And years ago, she had a little sister, you know, like Big Brothers, Little Sisters, that kind of program. And the woman's name was Selena. And when her big sisterhood time ended, her relationship with Selena did not. Selena is now a 31-year-old woman who runs a beautiful nonprofit in the Tenderloin area of San Francisco where they give programs for kids. So popular and so powerful was this program that the director of the Parks Department said, can you bring this program to the entire San Francisco Parks District? This is the power of this young lady that my mother helped to raise. And so Selena sees her as her mother, and she's been there every night. We were on the day shift, she was on the night shift, and one night she was down in the dumps. She was just being aware, living in the present moment, and she said, Mom, how about a pedicure, manicure? Let me perk you up. She did her hair, took her hair and did it all up in these little twisties and everything. I came back the next morning, she was looking all happy, and she's wagging her foot underneath the sheet and pointing. I said, what? She says, sheet. So I pull up the sheet, and there's little, I don't know what color that was. Blue, green, aqua, sky, purple, something. But she was just wiggling those toes. She was so happy because Selena was aware in that moment and practiced the theory of love and put it into play and lifted a person who couldn't find a way to lift themselves in that moment. That's what we get from being aware in the present moment. It's like the woodcutter was taking his son out into the forest to cut down trees because they They were the woodcutters for, they lived near the coast, and it was a naval yard where they built a lot of ships back in the day from wood. And so he was teaching his son, when you see the tall, straight trees, those are for the mast, the real tall ones. And when you see the straight arms and straight boards, that's for the planks. And when you see the curved trees, that's for the ribs of the boat. And then they walked past this gnarled oak tree that was just all, and the son says, what good is that tree? That doesn't have any of it. It's not straight, it's not curved, it's all gnarled up. Let's cut that down. It could be for firewood. And the father says, let's go look for some more trees. They go out and they look for more trees. And later in the day, it's hot and they're sweating, and the little boy says, well, it's pretty hot out here. And the father says, you want to take a break? And they go, yeah. So they walked over to the shade of the gnarled oak tree and sat under the tree, being present and aware to the purpose that everyone has in their life, and allowing them to live that purpose is a beautiful thing. Some people are going to be the tall mast, and some people are going to be the straight planks, and some people are going to be the curved ribbed wood, and some are just going to provide the shade of the gnarled oak tree. And you can't catch that. That's Ginger. She's an gnarled oak tree. Is that you? But you can't get that if you're not aware at the present moment. You won't have the great memory if you're not there watching it. Dr. Holmes says it is so much easier, far easier, to teach the truth than it is to practice it. But if you don't practice it, in the moment when you need the truth, it will escape you. So our work this week is to kiss the truth. Kiss the truth. Keep it steady and strong. Keep it steady and strong. Practice the principles on a regular basis. See the value in the now moment. Pay attention to what is happening in your life, particularly this time of year. And do the Carnegie Hall thing. Practice, practice, practice. And you will get there. You will build great memories. Dr. Holmes says, I would rather see a student of this science prove its principle than to have him repeat all the words of wisdom that have ever been uttered. That's all we have to do. One day, one moment, one awareful present experience at a time. Just prove the principle. Don't worry about all the fancy words. Don't even worry about the 5 steps. Just feel the presence of the divine. Make the claim of good in your life. Accept it right now. Say thank you. And the memories are guaranteed to be good. Make your before memories happen in the present moment. And when in the future, when you look back on the past, you'll know how the conversation turned out because you were very much aware for it at that moment. And so it is. And so that brings us back to the affirmation. Make more sense now? Let's do it. My future is filled with fond memories because I am living fully in the wholeness and joy of now.
Oh, yeah, now I get it.
Now I get it. Very sweet. Healing prayer time. John, where's the box?
Okay, I have to be a choice here.
Okay, at choice.
Okay.
Wonderful. Ooh, there are treatments in here. Our practitioners love to pray for your conditions in life, the limitations that we sometimes see, and also for the gratitude that we actually experience from the joy that shows up on a daily basis. So please allow us that opportunity to know the truth for you. Sit with a practitioner, schedule a practitioner session with someone, call me. I'm here in the office Monday through Thursday. It can be available for you for prayer as well and counseling, because we want you to have the fullest and joyous experience of life every single day.
I won't reveal who, but it appears we got a request from a child today.
We did. A young blood
Yeah.
gave us a prayer request.
Child can do it.
If a child can do it, that's it. 9 months to 99. Okay, 9 months to 102. We will, we will accept your prayer request, my friends. Let's pray together right now. If there's someone in your life that has a condition that you want to move them through, if there's some truth that you know needs to be revealed in a certain moment, or if you like what I like to do is just pray for the gratitude and the joy that is in your life, let's do it together right now as we recognize that there is one life, and that life is God. And each and every one of us has been gifted with a piece of that life centered in our very being. That Christ consciousness, that bright divine spirit, that light that is celebrated so wonderfully at this season of the year resides within every cell and fiber of your being. There is an intelligence and a wisdom within you that knows what to do, knows how to do it, when to do it, where to do it, and why it is doing it. For your good, for your joy, for your pleasure, for your highest experience of this thing called life that is available to you as you accept it. So I claim that each and every person in our minds right now, each and every man, woman, and child in our hearts is claiming and accepting and declaring the truth that is theirs, for it is done unto us as we believe, and I believe in the good. I believe in this truth. I believe in this teaching. I have the conviction and I have the experience, and therefore I have the faith that knows that the unseen becomes seen every single day. And there's nothing that gets in the way of this truth. So I open the veil of separation, the veil of illusion, and see through to the clarity of truth. God is. Love is. I am. And so with deep gratitude and much acceptance, I release this prayer into that perfect law which says yes to every aspect of goodness in our lives. And so it is.